Good morning, everybody. It's Serafina, and I'm here with your daily tarot and astro insight. So before I start, I just want to give a special thanks to all the people who have been supportive of these daily videos, whether it be through commenting on them, liking them, sharing them, and a special thanks to Tina, to Roisin, to Sharma Ray, to Genevieve, and to Max for being my Patreon supporters. If you are interested in making a monthly donation to keep these videos coming, just let me know and I can direct you to my Patreon account where you can choose a donation from $5 up to $20 and even more if you're interested in a monthly specialized reading for you. So again, thank you so much for the support. It means the world to me. So as I had mentioned, there's not a lot of astrological things going on this week. Yesterday, Mercury moved into Pisces, and Mercury's in its fall there because, as I mentioned, Mercury is very analytical and precise, and it likes to move quickly. And Pisces is kind of like the opposite of that. Pisces likes to take its time, to go with the flow, to dissolve into things. So anything regarding, mental processes or even technology and commerce could be a little bit diluted right now. It could be more difficult to get your ideas across right now or to work on certain technological things. But what I was reflecting on these last days, which I think is a very Piscean theme, is the theme of forgiveness. And not only forgiveness, but radical forgiveness. And what does this mean? I think it's relevant right now because we have been going through such deep transformative processes with Pluto communicating with all of these personal planets recently, that when we reach new states of consciousness or awareness of how our relationships have been playing out, and not only that, but the role that we have had in our own relationships and in our own life, in order to fully enter a state of acceptance and to allow things to move on from things in a way with grace, it requires a certain element of radical forgiveness. And radical forgiveness, I read a book about it, and basically what it speaks of is being able to transcend all of the human drama, all of the human complications and things that involve the ego, and being able to have a higher perspective towards how things played out or how things happened towards us or what we did to ourselves. And ultimately that means being able to recognize that we are all human. We are here with a certain ego or character that we came here to play out, and we're here sometimes unconsciously, and we don't notice what we're doing to others or to ourselves. So we have this specific role that we're playing out, and then other people have this specific role that they're playing out, and we interact and we communicate, and lots of times people get hurt, and that is not always our intention, but it is part of the human experience. So radical forgiveness is being able to just kind of accept that everybody is where they're at that moment, and being able to see the higher picture, being able to have an eagle eye perspective towards these dynamics, and knowing that blame really doesn't work for anybody. So this has been a prevalent theme for me recently, and I feel that the more I'm able to transcend and to see the higher picture, the more grace there is for me in continuing forward. However, that does not mean that we have to be, forgiveness doesn't mean that we have to fully forgive somebody and allow them back into our lives. Sometimes I feel that the highest form of forgiveness and self-respect is to be able to recognize that somebody's playing that role in our life, and to be able to walk away in a way that that denotes respect and dignity for yourself, and also for that person and for their own spiritual journey and for their own process. So it doesn't mean that we enable people in their behaviors. It just means that we find a higher understanding towards them and we're able to walk away from them. And again, I know that this theme is not anything new for most of us, but I always think it's nice to have a reminder of this, of the ability, this Piscean energy, this ability to be able to elevate, right? This ability to see things from a higher perspective, and from there to be able to make a decision based out of love and not fear. Okay, let's get into the tarot. I would like to call upon the spirit of the universe that loves us unconditionally. I would like to call upon the spirits of this land and of this ocean, and I thank them for holding the space and for their ancient wisdom. And I would like to call upon my team of light, my angels, archangels, ancestors, and my higher self, and I thank you for your presence and guidance with this reading. Okay. Dear Spirit of the universe that loves us unconditionally, what guidance is there for the collective today? What guidance is there for the collective today? What guidance is there for the collective today? We have the Six of Swords. What further guidance is there for the collective today? We have the Eight of Swords. It's funny, this card has been coming out a lot recently. What further guidance is there for the collective today? We have the King of Swords. Lots of swords. Swords represent air and mental activity. What further guidance is there for the collective today? We have the Chariot. Okay, and I'm going to pick one more card. What further guidance is there for the collective today? Okay, so I got two of them, and nothing is yet set in stone. It says mutable moon. And the other one that wanted to come out, it says a fiery climax approaches full moon in Aries. Okay, so we're starting off with the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords is a card of initiation. It is a card of us moving on from turbulent waters onto clearer waters. And as I mentioned, almost, three of our cards right now are swords, right? So it has to do a lot with the mental sphere of us being able to move from maybe a turbulent thought patterns, turbulent ideas, or even altercations that we've had with other people, and moving on to a place of more peace. I call it the initiation card because on the other Rider-Waite tarot deck, we can see a couple that are on a canoe and they're moving on and they're crossing waters, right? And so I always find that the crossing of waters, whether it be through a bridge or something like that, is a state of initiation, right? So this card usually just speaks of us being able to move on from something. And then we have the Eight of Swords. I think that this particular depiction of the Eight of Swords is perfect for what it means. I mean, look, there's somebody who's trapped like in a cell and they have these broken swords here. They still have some here, but they're still trying to get out, but it's futile, right? And so this denotes, being trapped in certain thought patterns, trapped in circumstances that we feel that are beyond our control. And then we have the King of Swords. The King of Swords is someone who is either an air sign in our life, or it could be a masculine part of ourselves who is very analytical, who knows how to balance their emotions out with their thought processes. It is someone who perhaps is very intelligent and who has very good cognitive abilities. But the King of Swords basically speaks of us standing in our power to be able to make decisions based on our own internal compass and not being too emotionally influenced by other things around us. And then we have the Chariot. The Chariot is ruled by Cancer, but basically, we always have the two sphinxes at the front, so it denotes balance. emotional balance as well, and being able to charge through whatever circumstances there are in life for us, right? So what I'm intuiting from these 4 cards is that there is something that we are still working through on the mental sphere. There is still some difficulties that we've been working through for these last weeks, because this card has been coming up so much, and perhaps we can maybe recognize how we are trapped in our own little cell. But I don't want to focus on that too much, because we started off with this sword. And if you notice, this woman, she has like this lamb, which for me represents like peace and being able to look out into the horizon, right? So she has these 6 swords, which have been her tools, but she's looking out into the horizon. She's going to be walking away towards that. So I feel that today there's the guidance of us being able to walk towards our highest path, being able to walk towards the highest resolution of something. And in order to do that, we're maybe going to be influenced by some masculine figure in our life, or a masculine part of ourselves, which is able to be discerning, which is able to make decisions that are right for themselves and for everybody involved in whatever situation that you're going through. And it's going to require a lot of determination, right? The Chariot is as I mentioned before, it's kind of like it has this shell that protects the person who's traveling through it, right? And so it basically speaks of inner balance and being able, if you notice, they have even a wand here, and they're like really just heading forward with whatever it is that they're going through. So nothing yet is set in stone is another strong message right now, right? We have a mutable moon. So if you're looking for something that's precise, something that you can hold on to, some decision that you need to be able to make or somebody else needs to be able to make, I really suggest that you don't fixate on how the outcome is going to be, because it says a fiery climax is approaching. So that means that there is something that we need to be patient with right now, because we're moving on from something that has been bothering us and knowing that there's going to be a resolution. The new moon in Aries is coming up. It's not the full moon, but I still feel that the Aries energy is very present. I can already feel it in the air with the warmth, knowing that the spring equinox is just a week away. So Aries spring, this spark of creation energy is just around the bend. So I feel that they're asking us that whatever it is that we're walking away from, whatever it is that we're floating away from into, the sunset, into a better time right now, because we're going to have to be able to make important decisions, right? We're going to be able to have to use our intellect and our communication skills to set boundaries. This is all about boundaries, right? Is going to reach a climax. It's going to reach some sort of resolution, but we have to know that it's going to take time and that nothing is set in stone. And this is something that I like to remind a lot of the people that come to me for tarot readings, is that nothing in this life is set in stone. Even if we pull cards right now, it doesn't mean that that is going to be the ultimate resolution, because there is the most important thing, which is free will. Our free will is ultimately what trumps anything, right? Astrology can give us transits. Tarot cards can read energy, but ultimately it's our free will what determines what happens to us and to other people. And that is what I feel is one of the greatest gifts of God, of Creator, of the universe, because that means that we're not living a determined destiny, right? We're not living a path that is already written out for us. We are co-creators in being able to create that life for ourselves. So that's the beauty of the fact that nothing is set in stone, and to know that a fiery climax is approaching. Some resolution is going to come from this 8 of Swords that we've been seeing so much lately. So definitely I would say so many swords in our cards today. Maybe some of us need to take a little bit more time out to meditate or even to journal. Journal is great for being able to get all of the things that are in our head out onto the paper and to find clarity. Okay, so to finish today, I'm going to be picking from the White Light Oracle by Alana Fairchild. Beloved Spirit of the universe that loves us unconditionally, what loving guidance is there for the collective today? we have the sun of 417 hertz. So if we can see, like, we have these like red and white flows of solar energy just kind of like encompassing this woman in a state of surrender. So let's read what this card says. You are being healed from guilt and fear. Such emotions will no longer steal your personal power or dissuade you from confidence, happiness, and realizing your own worth. No matter how unlikely it may seem, you are going to emerge from a spiritual winter into light and life. The divinely ordained time for your liberation, healing, and emergence is much closer than you realize. Abundant blessings are stirring and shall soon manifest. Great. So, again, it's speaking that we're going to be healed from guilt and fear. Fear is one of the biggest things that keeps us trapped into our mind and in mental loops and into trauma and into repetitive patterns that sometimes it seems impossible that we're going to be able to break out with them. Such emotions will no longer steal your personal power. Where is this? He's all about personal power, right? No matter how unlikely it may seem, you will emerge from a spiritual winter into new light and life. Ordained time is called for your liberation. Healing and emergence is most closer than what you realize. So there's definitely going to be some resolution regarding this. Abundant blessings are stirring. So what else does it say? The frequency of 417 is a spiritual truth serum. It undoes false perceptions and dismantles circumstances and situations which are no longer meant for your soul. This is what the Chariot speaks of. When a challenging situation is helping the soul to grow, this frequency will help you to understand how to work through in a soul-centered way, staying connected to the light within. It facilitates a healing shift into the vibration of the higher self. Your authentic path is directed by your higher self. As it is unique, there is no use in comparing your path to that of any other path in order to determine its validity and its value. Your true life path may lead you away from the familiar directly into worlds unknown. The moment the soul takes its authentic path, wondrous awakening can take place. Okay, so basically it's being healed by the rays of the sun. It's being able to find our own true path and not being able to compare ourselves with other people, by continuing forward with what we know is true to ourselves and not needing to compare ourselves to other people or to find validations with others regarding our own soul path, because we are in a state of initiation. We are in a state of moving on to calmer waters from whatever fear has been gripping us lately. And with that, we'll be able to stand more in this like masculine power of being able to be discerning, to stand our ground, to live a life of integrity, and being able to live in a way, to be able to practice what we preach, because nothing is set in stone. And this is the beauty of the life we live in, because free will is what determines everything. And there is something, it was confirmed twice that something is going to come to resolution. There's going to be a climax. There's going to be something that's going to be absolved for us as we surrender into this like solar energy and be able to trust in whatever it is that our soul is asking us to go through. Okay, everybody, I hope that this was useful to you, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Bye.